What's up, folks? I'm Latimer. Today I'm going to show you 3 essential soft plastics you can use to catch fish on your body of water. If you're just new to fishing, or if you just want to go out and catch fish, in particular bass, soft plastics work in almost every situation. There's a profile, there's a shape, there's a color that you can use, from rivers to lakes to even the Great Lakes. There's always a bait in a soft plastic form that you can catch a bass on. There's basically 3 ways that I like to rig a soft plastic. It's not limited to it, but these are my favorite 3 ways to rig a soft plastic. Let's start at the most simple and probably the oldest, most useful form. It's called a Texas rig. A Texas rig is very simple. When you look at it, it doesn't look like much, but I promise you this is one of the rigs that you can use everywhere. This is a small 1/4 ounce bullet sinker, and I'm going to go down to a 3 or 4/0 hook. Now you can upsize or downsize this to the soft plastic that you're using. If it's a smaller soft plastic, use a smaller hook and a smaller weight. But if you're using a bigger plastic, use a bigger weight or heavier weight and a bigger hook. This is the way I rig my Texas rig. I basically just run my hook through my plastic about 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to bring that plastic right up to the top of that line tie, and I like to bury the point of my hook right into the plastic. What makes this really good is that it's super weedless, so it doesn't snag hardly at all. You can fish it around laydowns, you can fish it around grass, and it doesn't hang up. And that allows you to fish it through the structure so you can catch a fish. One of my favorite things about a Texas rig is it being super weedless like this. Laydowns, structure that's real snaggy, it makes it really easy to fish around. So I'll just take it and pitch it around the structure like that, and I can bring it through it without it getting hung up. Another essential soft plastic rig that you really should learn how to fish is a shaky head. The shaky head is nothing more than just a jig head like you see right here, and I like to use a straight tail plastic. Now you don't always have to use a straight tail plastic, but in my opinion this just works best. The way I rig a shaky head is I rig it pretty much the same way we did a Texas rig. I'm just going to thread the hook in about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to spin my hook around and just bury my hook right back in the plastic. The thing that makes the shaky head a little bit better is, of course, it's still weedless, but the fact that it's compact, it works better with smaller baits like you see here. Where on a Texas rig, I like to use bigger, bulkier baits. For a shaky head, it's more of a finesse presentation. So I'll use smaller plastics, more streamlined plastics like what you see right here, and I'll fish it around hard structure, like bridges, concrete structures. That's where the shaky head seems to do a lot better. For the shaky head, I like to use finesse gear. I typically almost always use a spinning rod. The spinning rod with 8 to 10 pound test fluorocarbon on it seems to work the best. And then once I get that all rigged up, I'm ready to go fishing. Right here, I'm just fishing an old bridge. What I like to do is I'll just cast my bait out close to the structure, and I'll let it hit the bottom. And just like the name implies, I'll just kind of just shake my rod tip just like this, just to make the bait shake on the bottom. You just want to kind of get the fish's attention with it. But the biggest thing about it is just making sure that I maintain bottom contact when I'm fishing the shaky head. So this rig is probably the most complicated to rig up of all the 3, but is perhaps probably my favorite one to use. It's called a drop shot. To use a drop shot, what you need is a straight shank hook, a 2 to 4/0 straight shank hook, and then you're going to get a drop shot weight. Now this weight is specific to this technique. It's got a little round ball, and you can see it's got a clasp at the top to tie your line. So to start the drop shot, what I like to do is start with the hook first, and you're going to tie your hook using a Palomar knot and run it through the line tie just like you would any other rig. The only difference in a drop shot is typically on any rig that you use, you take the tag end of line and you cut it off. Well, on a drop shot, that's what we're going to use to attach our weight. You can see I've got my hooks standing out right like this, and this bottom part right here is our tag end of line. What I would typically do is cut that off when we start fishing, right? Well, with a drop shot, we take our weight and we're actually going to attach our weight to the tag end of line. Now what this does is it separates the weight from the hook, and it makes the plastic stand off the bottom. So you can see how our plastic is going to be suspended off the bottom when we cast it, and it just makes the bait a little bit more lifelike without the lid attached to the actual head of the bait. I'm Brian Latimer, and I hope that these 3 essential soft plastic rigs will help you catch fish like they help me.